marginalized who've been further marginalized by this crisis. We've been working to identify and target neighborhoods where immigrant families, undocumented people, very low-income folks, people living in public housing, because we know that they've been missed in many cases by this response, and those are the folks who have to have their voices heard. So what we've been doing last weekend, this is incredible because this is actually much bigger than last Saturday, and last weekend we had about 1,000 conversations on the doors with residents, and what we're focused on is, one, getting people accurate information and making sure that folks who have emergency needs get those addressed. There's been a lot of folks, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of misinformation, there's been a number of folks who have been drinking the water still, there's been a lot of folks who are boiling the water, which actually makes it worse. We'll talk through some of those things. And there are also a lot of people who are homebound, who can't leave their house, or maybe they're disabled or elderly, folks who do not have access to transportation, pregnant women and nursing women, and people with small children who've been experiencing health problems. Those are urgent needs, and when we find one of those, we'll talk about it in a minute, but we have a team of social workers next door that they go and respond to that immediately. They go and get folks water, they go and make sure that people have a filter that's installed, they have accurate information about how well those filters are working and what they have to do. So our team of social workers goes and does that. That's one, triage, right? It's just triage. It's addressing the immediate urgent needs right now. The other two things that we're doing that are critical if we're actually going to build power here are, one is we're starting to collect people's stories. We're starting to ask folks how this crisis has impacted them and their families, and if they're willing to share their story, if they want their voice to be heard. The reason we think this is critical is if residents here aren't the ones who are having their voices heard, others are going to tell the story for them. Gatekeepers and spokespeople and officials will tell their stories for them. And we're already starting to hear inklings of, it seems like the crisis is getting under control and people are getting water and some of these things, but the reality that we're seeing on the doors is not the case. Those voices, those stories have to be lifted. We've been plugging in folks to media trainings, to connect with communicators like Heather from PICO in the back of the room who's been helping people collect their stories. There's an organization, Progress Michigan, that's been collecting folks who are making sure that their voices are heard, their voices are heard loud and clear. And third is actually getting people into community meetings as turnout. Are they interested in turning out to community meetings, to actions, to trainings? This is making sure that folks are plugged in and we're coming together as a community to have unity, to actually be building power around this. So we're asking folks if they're interested in turning out to things like the meeting that just preceded this today, which was a community meeting where folks could get some accurate information from a health expert and could also be hearing from one of the local organizations that's anchoring this. So those things are really critical. And lastly is making sure that we actually have an organizing strategy around a lot of this work, and this is why the voices in the neighborhoods are so important. So as some folks may know, the budget process for the state budget is happening right now. The governor is presenting his budget to a joint session of the State House and State Senate Appropriations Committee on Wednesday. We need to make sure that Flint voices are there, that directly impacted people have a presence, and that we're making sure they know we need this to be paid for. Our people need this taken care of. So we're going to be doing things like that to make sure that we're really focused on that. So I just wanted to give a broad overview of what the purpose of this is. There's a lot of folks who are doing incredible work, making sure that there's water being passed out. Our